Alright, basics of things that involve everyone, that involve what everyone in hopes of all humans need, want, work for, work towards, and what happens because of that. Different variations of variance. Happy times. So on the level of that, there's also good side to it. There always is. There's always a reassuring thing next to you. We can evolve it towards this basic idea. To find out the formula or something, you just have to cross out the form. So you'd have to go to an arbitrary sense to find out all the meaning that can be derived from it. The more you see in a little, if you can see a lot in a little, you can simplify a complicated concept. So we can get to the level of pretend there's a word physics, and you want to find what qualifies hopes of all humans, and the first principles, the birth of a word would be the first letter. So let's try to find the formula to happy. So you have to cross out the form to find out the formula, right? Well, what is happy? Happy is unity. In the justice of our hearts, we all want unity, perfect peace. Well, on earth, it creates another structure. Happy can create indulgence. Well, let's find out both forms, shall we? By finding out the formula to these forms, by crossing out the forms step by step. We'll start with happy. Happy is unity. Unity is anything that connects. So on the arbitrary nature of the first principle, if you want to be mathematical, so it's more precise and arbitrary, you could have unity. That could be number 2, but you want to be arbitrary, right? You want to analyze it. What 2 is? It is 1 and 1. So we're trying to find out the happy is unity, right? Unity, perfect peace, if it involved any minor infraction, any minor detail of, variance, it wouldn't be perfect peace. Well, what do you find when you're happiest? Do you want to move faster than the speed of light? Or are you thinking about it? Hey, is this faster than the speed of light? No. You go through your complicated lives. You run all your errands. You do everything you got to do and then you have a break and you can have those simple moments where time flies. So let's try to find out how to get to happy. Well, you have to cross out the form, So cross out the form of unity, you get the formula for the first principle basis of without that, you wouldn't have happy. Let's cross out the form. Happy. The first letter creates, without that, you have happy. So happy is unity, it's 2. Cross out the form, you have happy. You have to cross out the form to find the formula. Well, there's indulgence now, you can get happy and then get too happy, and then it would be indulgent. Or if the whole world isn't completely happy. Is the whole world happy? So some people are too happy, other people aren't as happy. So too happy, let's figure out the indulgence. Well, arbitrarily, Wittgenstein said, if I write down I built a house, it's not as respectful as if you say that's the end all be all, as a real man building a house, So let's get again to the gender of nature. Well, you can say being in the respective words, and that being involves learning how to build a house. In the respective words, it's a little more respectful than saying I built a house. That's building a house. Being involves the gender of nature. We all want to be, and we're all being. When we're being, some people build a house. So it's happy and indulgence. We have to find out the formula for both, right? So it's a structure. It sounds a little arbitrary, but a structure is anything that's more than one piece, right? Hey, that was built on something. It has more. So it's a structure. Structure is 4. A square, a foundation. 4 is structure on the level of 1, 2, 3, 4. If I were to go through the generatives of 1 through 9, the basis of all numbers, it would qualify for as structure. Have faith. If you don't believe me, sooner or later I get to the video of 1 through 9, and I don't really feel like it right now. But I'm not really trying to help you anticipate so you can want to learn more. I'm just trying to find out what I've learned along the lines, and I'm trying to teach you what happy and indulgence is. It's the structure, right? So 4 is structure. I guess I'll be generous. 1 is beginning and completion. Something was created. Well, it's complete, because I created this dry erase board, and it was the beginning of it, and it's complete, It was a creation and it was complete. 2 is a unity, like we said. 3 is a communication, because if, say, there was a universe and it was created somehow, and it was completion where there was one planetary universe, and then somehow it was a unity because it didn't kill itself. It was there. It was united. It started with 2 at least. You had planets, or, bodies of spherical, planets and space and stuff. And at least the vision of observation. And then you have three as a communication, because we weren't really there, but we have the idea of that universe that was there before us. So that's a communication. And four is, well, it was physical, wasn't it? So it was a structure. And five is human condition, because Earth was physical. Our idea of it before was a communication. So we're on top. We're on top of the four. We're walking on top of structure. So happy and indulgence, in the arbitrary sense of nature of mathematical sense, it's a structure. It's four, and what are we going to do? We're going to be arbitrary. How do you find the idea of happiness and indulgence? Because happiness is what leads to indulgence. So we have to be very careful sometimes. Cross out the form. Happy. Cross out the form. Structure. Cross out just four. Imagine that wasn't there. You have happy minus happy. That equals 0. Happy. Or happy, and it connects to another happy. 2 happy. That's indulgence. That's 0. Happy. So on the level of, we all want to be happy, but hey, God, this is us. This is us, whether, we're not 0 happy, but we're involved in this structure. Sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're sad, sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're sad, sometimes we're happier than most. And while you're sleeping, he's like, and in this moment you have peace, when he's sitting down with his son. And he's like, Dad, this isn't that moment. And at least said, well, of course it isn't that moment. You want to make rocking chairs and, hey, donuts, sure, that lady, hey, her furniture's, hey, I guess she passed, So this level of 0 happy, the theoretical structure of a circle means that, hey, no matter what we go through in life, if we're too happy, so other people aren't as happy, or we got too happy, so we start getting a little desensitized. Or always at 0 happy. But no matter how happy or indulgent or how happy less you are, or no matter how happy you are, there's always going to be a 0 right next to you. Saying, hey, in your life of happy and indulgence, you can stick as much happy and indulgence as you want. And you can't see the 0. It's there, though. It's telling you it's there. It's kind of like, life world theory and critical theory. We are innate in this world that surrounds us and is connected to us. And we are innately provided for as we provide for each other. And the life world of our surroundings is, we're innate in it. It's divided from us, but the division creates connection. And most stray dogs, hey, they survive. Hey, we also feed our dogs. And in America, you can't starve if you're homeless. We're doing pretty good in this life world. So there's this 0 in the theory of the structure. It's not really a number, but it's actually 1, 0. And we're in 0 happy level because the whole world isn't happy. So we're a mix of happy and indulgence. We're a mix of this. So no matter what you do, there's this something around you that you don't know that's saying it's okay. In the theoretical structure of an idea of a 0, you can fit anything. You can fit an infinite amount of zeros, infinite amount of ones, 2, 3, 4, 5, because you can't put 2 inside of a 1. You can't put 3 inside of a 4. But in 0 happy, there's always something next to you say, hey, no matter what, hey, big guy, don't worry, you'll learn that you can do whatever you want because we're going to help you out. This little invisible, what governs our reality? Gravity, electricity, electromagnetism. The invisible is that, in the metaphysics of life, will always be there. So let's think about always be there. There's evolution, there's evolution. So let's just qualify it as a symbol. Symbols are very, very convenient. You could put the picture of the earth, and one person will see that symbol and say, hey, I can write a whole book on the history of the earth if I wanted to. Some person will say, I could talk about what I think about this earth. It's very convenient. So what's evolution? Evolution is learning. No matter what, it's learning. So I'm going to say that evolution is, I'm going to be a little canonical, but I'm going to show the evolution of this life in science, and I'm going to show the evolution of the afterlife by crossing out the form. Plus. The plus sign is evolution. You evolve. It's addition. You add. It's like this. It goes like this, and then it goes up. Larger leaps in evolution, shorter periods of time. We came from fish or bacteria in the ocean. Then all of a sudden we were conscious of ourselves, and there was a lot of time before that. And then the level of communication, we have the internet, and we can communicate. Larger leaps in evolution, shorter periods of time. So I will show you. This is evolution on Earth, what we quantified in science. Well, how do we turn into a human evolution of what happens after? We had to prove it out. Well, there was this man, the level of idea is, there's this man who died for our sins so we can go to heaven. Stick Jesus on there and, murder him, but he died for our sins so we can go to heaven. Cross out the form of the evolution. and you have the afterlife, and the idea of the conventional idea of the guy who's, So to science, we have evolution. And then but science can't figure out what happens in the afterlife. Put a human on there so it could be more human, than the plus sign of evolution, and cross out the form, take him out. But just on the level of fairness, if Jesus was a nun, a zero, they would have probably never heard him. Because he was a homeless man who cared about everyone else more than himself. But in the idea of it to the human race, no one was more brave. So, to the evolution of reality of science, but the evolution of the afterlife is you cross out the form. It may be unreal, but he died so we can go to heaven, supposedly. And Jesus is known in America, and he's a Middle Eastern man, but he's also he loved everyone. So we have the evolution on Earth. Including, the organisms of other non-human forms, and we have the evolution of energy, and we have all kinds of different ideas of evolution. And it's learning, basically. It's a metaphysics of plus, addition. And if you want to cross out the form, stick a human on there. And what's the highest ideal of someone for the evolution of the afterlife? A man who died for our sins, so we can go to heaven, because no one's perfect. And supposedly, he's the son of God, the most powerful force, the sun. But it's quiet. It won't remind you that it has power, and it teaches you not to have power. Use it by a homeless man who cared about everyone else more than himself. If he was a female, he would have never died, but he died for his sins. And now you have the quantification of evolution by crossing out the form to find the evolution of the human life, addition. And when you cross out the form, you get to find out the secret of life. We go to heaven, or at least in our highest ideal. Wouldn't you want to give back to the source that created energy, so we can have the evolution of something after that? Our voice is invisible. So God has to be invisible. A really amazing God who said, "Let there be light." And because of that light, we have to die in life. But sometimes in ideas of evolution of ideas, of invisible voice. Because when you're on top of a building and you look down at everyone, they all start to look the same. And that's great. It's universal time now, because while they look the same, you never lose faith in their invisible voices, their invisible love, their invisible emotions, their invisible ability to share space together, just innately in that life theory. You never lose faith in the idea of when they all start to look the same, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't see them." You'll never lose faith in their invisible voice, their invisible love that governed all their actions, that loved everyone else, that at least tried hard no matter what. So, level of basics. We have happy and indulgence. Very, very, it's involved in everyone's life. We have evolution. It's involved in everyone's life. We had a man, at least an ideal, wanted to be a nun, and no, he wanted to help us have afterlife. And all the symbolism of how are we going to prove all of the things that govern our reality, our gravity, electromagnetism, invisible forces, and our voice is invisible. And God said, "Let there be light," and he saw that it was good. The invisible voice is kind of the quantification of, you're not allowed to know, but plenty of people do, who have faith, and faith is the proof of things not seen. So have faith, everyone, as we go in zero happiness. There's a zero letting us fit unconditionally. Whatever we pan out, whatever we try, will always be in the level of zero happy, because not the whole world isn't happy. But maybe there's a perfect peace. 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 Maybe there's a perfect peace.